So I'm a buyer's advocate, and my business helps home buyers and investors and overseas people buy property in Australia. So we're a service-based industry in the real estate industry. For me personally, I've been doing what I do for a really long time. I've got my whole career has been spent in the real estate industry doing what I do now, and I've been running my business since 2004. When I first started the business, it took off really quite quickly, and I hired multiple staff members, and that was all going well for a period of time. But then things contracted, and I pulled back, and I let go of the staff members, and it became just me and one support person. So for the last decade, it's been me and an assistant. And so doing business that way, I have only ever been able to help a certain amount of clients at one time. So there's a certain capacity that I can do on my own before I'm not providing the level of service that I'd like to provide to clients. So I got to a point where I'd been working really hard in my business for so many years, and I thought, I'm capped. My earning is capped, and I've got two choices. I can keep going until it's retirement time, and really all I've done is earn a good wage for my entire life, which isn't really worth the amount of stress and the amount of sleepless nights and everything that goes with being a business owner when you're trying to figure it all out on your own. Or I could expand beyond myself, have staff members work for me, and to create the business into something that was saleable and scalable and would provide me with a larger asset when it came time for me to retire. And so what I decided was that, the last 14 years of my career would have been wasted if I didn't turn it into something really great that could either be passed on to somebody else, sold to somebody else, or just given myself and my husband a reward that would have made all of this hard work worth it. So I decided to expand, and that's before at the time that I joined boot camp. And so boot camps really helped me to actually do that. The best aha of boot camp, I think, was a turning point for me. And it was, I don't know how it came about, but we were talking about being women in business and earning money, and growing up with the belief that men were the providers. And, women can suffer a lot of resentment towards their husbands or their partners when they feel or in a way that makes them feel safe, secure, or puts them in a position where they're enjoying the quality of life that they want to enjoy. And ashamedly, I actually felt that way as well. I thought, well, it was my husband's job to provide for us and to create this life of that we both wanted. It was his job. And the biggest aha for me was when I flipped that around on its head and thought, well, why is it my husband's job? Why can't I be the provider? And that changed everything for me. And when I thought about how it would feel for me to be able to be the provider, and it doesn't necessarily mean that I will be the provider or that's a job that I have given to myself for the rest of our life. But what if I could be the provider and my husband and I could swap and change as it suited us, depending on what personal goals we were chasing in our life? And that's when my career and my income really skyrocketed, when I really owned that role of, hey, how amazing would it be if I could provide for my family and it wasn't my husband's job to do that? Yeah, look, my relationship with money, it gets better and better all of the time. There's no end to the work that you do. Once you start working, it's an inside job. Once you start that job, it never ends, and you realize that there's further and further to go. And so when you realize what you're thinking about money and how it's limiting you, and you move forward to tackle it and change it, then you have new things presented to you, and you see where else you're holding yourself back. So my relationship with money is improving all the time, and there's still so much further for me to go, because I can see, there are women in the boot camp who are so many more steps ahead of me. And it's a beautiful example of what's possible if I choose that for myself as well. And just money wise, so much has changed for us, and with managing our money and the decisions that we want to make with money, the respect that we have for money, and also the amount of money that in has dramatically changed. Most of the money at the moment is being reinvested back into the business to help us with our longer term goals, but certainly the income has increased fivefold. So if you feel the nudge to do it, I think if it's within your means or if you can stretch to help yourself do it, then do it. If it's in your heart, absolutely do it. If you don't do it and it's still nagging at you, then make sure you do it because it's obviously meant for you. And I think if you're ready for the work and if you really take it on, it's going to pay off. There's just so much there in the boot camp for us to have in the community and also in the course workbooks. And it's something that you can keep coming back to time and time again. And the thing that I love about the work is that it has a ripple effect. Denise changes, you change, you come on board in the business, you change, Denise changes. We all see that as an example. We change, and then everybody in our life sees us change, and that's an example for them as well. So it's a really great service to work on yourself and to expand what's possible for you because you help other people expand their vision for what's possible for themselves as well. So do it. Yeah, I think when you first join boot camp, there's going to be different people are going to approach it different ways. You're going to get those who are gun ho and get in there and just rip through all of the course content and devour it and really do it. Then you have some people who buy it and don't open the course for a little while, and that was me. I was studying full time as well as running my business. I didn't have time to do the course content, but I was in the Facebook group, and just being in the Facebook group already had dramatic changes and impacts on me. So I'm still doing some work because I've got other skills. I've got other modalities that I can use to help myself. So I was still doing the work and seeing benefits. And then when I had time, I came into the course workbooks. And I think the best thing for anybody to do is do what you can do. If you're more of a slow person who likes to take it easy, then that's okay. And if you're the kind of person who's just going to dive right in and devour everything, then that's okay too. You just really have to run your own race and keep your eye on where you're going and do what's right for you. But the only thing is just to keep going. Don't stop. For the boot camp community, I would just say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. You guys inspire me on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, and you help me to see things that are possible for myself that I've never dreamt of. And for that, I'm truly grateful. And also, when I'm stuck and I share with the community, there are always people who have been in that situation before who can help me with different perspectives and different ways to get unstuck. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you to the community. And also with Denise, I'm not a big fangirl kind of a person. So saying this is not something that I say lightly, but Denise, you've just been such an inspiration to me and so many women, and also to men. My husband is changing as a result of the work that you're doing because he's seeing me change, and there's that's really special. So there's a massive ripple effect. Every time you work on yourself, you help us to change and work on ourselves and to step up as well. And I know you're probably just doing what you're doing because you feel called to do it. It might not seem like a really big deal, but it's changing lives. And I've just got so much respect and admiration for the good work that you're doing in the world.